Does Direwolf finally have some competition? Stick around. Let's talk about it. Hey, everybody. Tim here. Gray Man Poda. Amateur radio call sign November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. The other day, was looking along and I stumbled across an X post about a new type of digipeater or APS software out there with a new modern interface. So I reached out to the poster, who's actually the guy that has developed this, and chatted to him. He sent me a link to the GitHub, and now since then it's kind of become public. So I'm going to go ahead and share it. But I wanted to do is talk about it and to kind of back it up, just to talk about my use case. I live in a valley. I live in between Indianapolis, Indiana, Bloomington, Indiana, and we're about 200 feet below the rest of the state in central Indiana here. So a lot of radio signals, at least local signals, VHF, UHF signals, can go overhead. Now, we have a few high profile repeaters in Indianapolis, and Bloomington's a little bit easier to get to, but sometimes a lot of stuff just goes overhead, or also in my case, because I've got another 200 feet of foothills, whatever you want to call them. There's things 15 miles away from me I can't even get because of the obstructions in the way. Kind of a California type problem, just here in Indiana. But so what I have been diving into is, how can I put a digipeater back up? Now, I used to run a DigiPi in the house before I moved out here. And when I moved everything out, I just never really set a 2 meter, 70 centimeter radio back up, because I really honestly don't use it unless I'm driving. And that's kind of why I just had it set up as a digipeater before, was to just kind of provide some coverage, some gap in this area as people were driving through. So I wanted to get that back up. I went ahead and got the coax reran, got it over here to the building, and started doing this. And this thing just kind of popped up in my lap as it was kind of on the top of my mind. Anyways, now I don't dislike DigiPi. I think it's a good program, but it runs on a Pi. I wanted something a little bit more meatier because I'm doing other things, and the DigiPi is fine and no problems with that program. But it also runs on Direwolf, and Direwolf's been around for a few years. And one of the things I personally have a problem with Direwolf, and I'm sure a lot of other people do, is that it's really all done by configuration file. I hate text files. I despise it. I'm more of a Windows guy. Well, actually, I'm a Mac guy. I'm a UI guy. I prefer a UI all day long instead of text files. I'm just not a fan of it. But this kind of solved that, right? And I can run it on a regular Linux computer. All right, so the application we're talking about today is called Graywolf, and it's written by Chris Snell, November Whiskey 5 Whiskey, and he is out west somewhere, does, I think, a lot of traveling around, and this was just a project that he was doing, and I kind of like it. So it uses, and it talks about in here, is Graywolf is a modern APRS station with a software modem, so like Direwolf, digipeater, igate, and web UI, which is a little bit different. It bundles everything you needed in an APRS station, from the raw audio demodulation to APRS-IS gating, and it gives you the ability to use a modern browser to utilize it, which I absolutely love. And once again, nothing against Direwolf, but I hate config files. I despise them. And I know a lot of people do too. I find them not confusing, but there's just way too much information. I just want to see. Click. I'm a clicker. Click. But I read the dialog boxes, unlike the millennials nowadays. I actually read the boxes before I click. Long story. I'll tell you about it someday at the ham fair. So it is kind of built on, well, first of all, it is pre-built for Linux. So you can run it on a full flavored Ubuntu, Debian-based Linux. You can run it on Raspberry Pi. You can run it on Mac OS, and you can run it on Windows. So across the board, whatever your operating system flavor is, it will work with. Once you get the initial thing installed, you switch over to a web interface and you do the rest of it through there. It's a slick interface. I really do like it. Now it is built, and I'm going to say it in here, and I'm just going to read the statement. It is written in Rust and includes portions of the APRS-IS demodulator from Direwolf. So it's built on top of it. It also uses some other stuff from another gentleman, Whiskey 7, Ian, from libmodem. So it uses a combination of Rust, Go, and another program called Spheletta. I don't know what that is, but for the web front end. So I will put a link to the GitHub repo so you can download this. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to do with this, and I as far as I know, it wasn't built into DigiPi. I'm assuming I can load something in with it too, but is I've got a Tempest weather station here, and I wanted to be able to take that weather station data and also push it out every once in a while, especially when people are driving through, every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, send out the temperature, the time, the weather, that kind of stuff. Nothing crazy, but I wanted to get that and put it out. So all those things were just kind of sitting in the back of my head that I wanted to get out. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. So if we switch over, I've got this installed and I've had it running for a little while. But here is the web interface for Graywolf. And as you can see, very modern looking interface. Starting off with the dashboard, we can see what's going on with the radio itself, the number of packets we've received over the air, number of packets we've transmitted, packets we've igated up to the internet, how long it's been up and running. So I just rebooted this here just a few minutes ago, so 30 minutes ago. And then you get a kind of a summary of the last, it looks like 20, 30 entries into the log. Pretty easy setup. Now, one of the things that DigiPi and as far as I know, nobody else is doing, and I might be wrong, and if I am, let me know down in the comments, is a live map. And this is kind of cool. Now, normally you would have to go to APRS-IS to get this. This is right here. So this is local. If you're off grid, if you don't have internet access, you can get this map in your system. Now, he's got two mapping options. You can use open maps or whatever the thing that people use on the interwebs, but he also has the ability to download maps locally to this. If you're going to be out in an area off grid, you can download those things and have those with you. So if you're camping out on BLM land or something like that with no internet access, you do have the ability to get and have this mapping feature. But as you can see here, you can turn things off. I can turn off trails. I can see, in this case, looks like a vehicle running down the interstate here over the last hour. You've got all the way up to 7 days. Now, one of the features I can, and this is really nice, I can store this data, this positional data that I've recorded over the years in a database. So when this restarts, that immediately gets populated. But for example, if I'm on a limited access from a Raspberry Pi and I've only got like an 8 gig card or something like that, you don't have to turn that on. It's an optional feature. So every time it reboots, you're just getting new data populating in the screen. It has a modern SMS messaging gateway. So DigiPi has that. It has it integrated, and you can use it. Well, if you've dealt with any of the FT, any of these type radios, right? Trying to do SMS messaging or APRS messaging on here it's a real pain. If you haven't heard, you can ask Mike, K8MRD. K8MRDiswrong.com. He'll explain to you how much he enjoys APRS messaging. But this right here is even so simple that Mike would probably like it. So you can go through and send messages. And I think even something like the BTEC, UV Pro radios like this. Now they have a companion app that runs on your phone, and you can do it on here too. Not as easy on here, but on the companion app, yeah, you're just typing like you're typing a text message. So very nice to do that. It's got a terminal if you want to do AX.25 messaging packet radio. You can do things in here and set that up. Something he's got going on in here, I haven't fully dived into it, but you can trigger actions over the air to do things somewhere else. Like, for example, turn on the lights in the kitchen. If you've got home automation set up, Node-RED, something like that, you can actually, through here, build a bridge, a link, and over the air send commands to do things in your house. It's kind of neat. I haven't gotten into it, but it uses one-time password credentials that you can set up, has actions, and I'm going to dive more into that later. We start getting into settings here. Point and click. It's pretty easy. So I've already got the radios defined. Now, in my case, this particular scenario, I'm using an ICOM 2820H 2 meter, 70 centimeter radio. It's a D-Star mobile that I have. And it's a little bit older and has that 6-pin DIN data port on it. Now, it's the same one if you followed temporarily offline TO. It's the Toads. Well, I have a Toads digital interface device, which is essentially a sound card, like a DigiRig, like a Signal Link. And then I have the daughter card on there, which is the 6-pin DIN. And I'll put links down below to some of Steve's videos. He's done several videos on this thing. It's really cool. And then the Toad shell, which is a case that Freddie Mac has designed for all that to go into. So I've got that set up over there in the rack. And that's the gateway that I'm using. So the Toads interface uses the CM108 sound interface. It's a very common one to use in amateur radio. And works. It's a lot of software is written to work with it without any problems. But in a case like this, when you're doing a fresh start, you just hit detect devices and it will go through and it'll pull up all the sound devices in there. And you just basically point and click. This is what I want. I want this one and I want this one. And so what I wound up with is with these two, if we go in and look now, one of the things, if you've watched Steve's videos, sometimes it's a pain in the butt to find out your device thing. It's not COM1, COM2 like it is in Windows. It's the Linux device path that you have to find. That does all this for you. You just go through and do it. But in this case, because this is a receive one, I select input. Where do I want it to go? How do I route the audio into the computer? What the source type is and the sample rate. And then in this case on the output, it's going to be the output going to the radio. Once again, sound card. And it is that simple. You can see your input and output levels as they come through. So really, really easy. Now, I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but once you do that, if you're going to do a digipeater, you would need to set up a PTT. Once again, with the CM108, it's already kind of integrated into it. So recommended for PTT. It was already there when I first set this up. So I go through it and tell it, here's what we need to do. Once again, I'm going to tell it, I'm creating a channel because you can actually support multiple radios with this thing and do multiple things. It's more than just APRS, and you could actually, yeah, control multiple radios and do different things. But in this particular case, I've just got 2-meter APRS set up. Here's the method. Here's the device path again. Once again, all this is kind of picks it out for you. And the GPIO. Now, in some cases, if I had to do key the radio on a high versus or a low versus a high, you've got functionality for that. So once again, very, very simple. And KISS, you guys know me, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I love to do that. I hate overcomplicating things. So far that's right there. We got that. And then now we start getting into some features, digipeating. All right. So I want to create a digipeater, and once again, it's just enable it. Use the station call sign, which I already set up. Now in this case, because I'm digipeating, and actually I can go down here, my call sign, NWF, and because I'm a digipeater, in this case, -1. And there's a whole list of suggested ones that you should use for the SSID, and that is the TAC, whatever the number is behind your call sign, and I'll put links to that down below too. So turned on, so any traffic that leaves here is going to go out as NW9F-1, and then dedupes. So if I hear a packet more than a couple times within 30 seconds, I'm only going to send it out one time. You can do digipeater rules, and right now mine is basically just I set up because I'm a little different, being down in the hole here. I'm actually set up as a wide area digipeater right now, which makes it 2 hops instead of 1. But long story, I'm playing, testing, doing some testing. I don't know if one's better than the other at this point. I just know that when I was on one, I wasn't getting heard as far away. So you got options once again. Do you want to receive it on one radio and transmit it out on another? You can do that. So a lot of features in here. And to be honest, I'm sure once again there's probably this stuff available in Direwolf. I ain't got time to read through a bunch of text files. I mean, I do this stuff for a living, and it gives me a headache when I have to deal with a lot of the Linux stuff. All right. General here, pretty simple. You can go through and you can actually change. So I'm pretty bright right now. If I wanted to actually take this to dark, and I think I might just do that for the rest of this thing. You've got, do you want to use metric units? Do you want to get notifications from GitHub, or actually have it notify you on the dashboard when there's new updates from GitHub, which is kind of nice. Now in this case, I don't have a GPS running, but if you were using a mobile device and you're moving around, you may want to have the GPS. I just used fixed coordinates for my digipeater. igate, another set of features. If you want to enable the igate, you can select which gateway you're going to use to get that stuff into the APRS network, the port number, and the TX channel. So it's a bidirectional gate too. So if somebody is messaging, for example, as they're driving by here, it's going to go out the gate, go up to the internet. It's going to ping K8MRD, Mike. Mike's going to respond. It's going to come back through the internet. It's going to hit my digipeater because that was, or igate, because that was the last one that the user was connected to. It went through it, and it's going to put it back out into the RF network through my igate. So bidirectional gate. Not all of them are that way. It's an option you have to turn on. KISS, and talking about the Tempest weather station. So this application will listen to broadcast packets coming out of the Tempest weather station with all the weather data in it, stuff that it pushes out to the Tempest application. It'll take that data and format it into an APRS format, and then pushes it over to the KISS interface inside of this unit. So once again, very basic as far as the setup, what mode we're in, what kind of a listener do we want? We want TCP, and here's the TCP port, so 8001. So that other program pushes out. Now they're both on the same computer, but it'll send over here to 8001. This guy receives on 8001. And then what's it do? It takes it and it pushes it out through the 2-meter radio. So that's how I can get weather data out, and if you notice you're driving by somewhere and all of a sudden the screen pops up on your radio, and it has the temperature and the pressure and whatever other information, barometric pressure and stuff like that is available with that weather station. You can get it. One section that's always good is the logs. Once again, you're not fighting looking through tons and tons of text file logs. Everything is broken out here for you. It tells you what type of a packet. Is it a position pack? Is it digipeat? Is it igate? Is it RF gating? So is that traffic coming in, traffic going out? Weather data in here. So here's the weather. And in this particular, this one, KE9VM, they pushed out the weather data. I picked it up and I igated their weather data up to the interwebs. Here's one that just it picked up and didn't do anything with because it was within that 30 seconds. It's kind of a cool thing. Like I said, new project. I like this. Nothing against Direwolf. I like this. This to me has got me excited. It's got me excited to do something a little bit different. It's got me excited to get involved more with APRS again, more than just turning it on my radio when I go to the Hamfest or having it when I drive up to Indianapolis or something turned on. So once again, this is Graywolf, Chris Snell, November Whiskey 5 Whiskey. And this is the project on GitHub. I will put a link to this in the description. I'm also going to put a link to the Tempest APRS stuff. I tried another application called WX. Some minor success with it. It was a little more complicated. I just actually, they've got a pretty decent Discord community. I just threw it out there that I was having some problems. Guys like, well, what are you using? And I told them, and it just happened to be this guy here that was responding to me, Whiskey 9 Papa Echo Lima, and I think his name is Paul. So let me know if you are interested in me doing some more deep dive videos on how to get some of this stuff set up. I will put links to everything down in the description box below. If you're interested in that, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button, share this content with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And until we have an opportunity to meet on the air, I have a video right over here that you may be interested in.